characters on social media have sparked a massive discussion on the impacts of sexual harassment and assault on women stemming from the fallout of the Harvey Weinstein abuse allegations. Actress Alyssa Milano tweeted asking women to simply tweet the hashtag #MeToo if they'd ever experienced harassment or an assault. For clarity, reporting now indicates that term originated with the writings of Tarana Burke, and I've posted that on my Facebook page if you want to read about that. The response has been overwhelming. Here to help us understand why this is striking such a chord with society right now is Janice Palm from Shepherd's Counseling Services and attorney Ann Bremner. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Janice, talk to me. I mean, you work with people, you know how people feel when these things sort of come back or there's a reverberation of previous events. What do you think the Harvey Weinstein saga has done for victims, which are not only women? There are men and boys and girls who are assaulted as well.
Absolutely. I think a couple things. One is it can definitely be triggering. Anytime this sort of stuff comes up in the media, if someone has a history of being sexually assaulted, sexually abused, it brings it back, can bring it back, can bring nightmares, flashbacks. I think the way this is emerging, this situation, and the Me Too especially, and I think because there is such an outcry around this, I think in a way it's also validating. Because a lot of people are standing up and saying, not okay. They're seeing that he's getting some sort of censure and punishment from this.
Well, he's been thrown out of the Oscar Academy, but still in, or Roman Polanski and Bill Cosby and you name it. I mean, I see this in two different ways. There's part of me that says, great, I'm glad we're shining a light on it. And part of me says, you know, they joked about Harvey Weinstein's abuse of women on the Oscars. It was so well known, and here we are. So I don't know whether to take this as a good thing. I'll try to take it as a good thing, but what, I don't know a woman who can't say Me Too.
Well, that's why it was an avalanche, or I think it's been called a mountain, I mean a tsunami. I mean, Me Too, everybody, Me Too. I mean, and do people want to talk about the Me Too, about the details, right? Or just say Me Too, and then you think with the more that things stay the same, the more they change. I mean, we talked about Anita Hill earlier, you know, and then what happened with sexual harassment after that, or domestic violence and O.J. Simpson, but maybe.
Do you remember that was going to end domestic violence? Blow the lid off that. We were never going to have to talk about that again because everybody would see what that's all about, and it didn't.
I think we do make progress, but I think it's not what we think it is with something like this, but it's always a good start. And I think you're showcasing this is so important, Margaret.
So tell me a bit about what you've dealt with in your life as a lawyer.
As a lawyer, I've been a DA in sexual assault cases and with kid cases, with children cases as victims, adult victims. I've dealt with suing pedophiles, pediatricians, teachers on behalf of victims over the years. You know, I've had it in my own life. I'm another Me Too. And I think there's a real spectrum from sexual abuse to sexual harassment, you know, and everything else. But it's all equally damaging. And I think it's about power in a lot of these cases. It's about privilege, and it's about injustice. And so what I've done in the system, I think, is try to work with victims in a way that I can advance them. But I can only get them so far. And then the work really comes, you know, from people like you, but their damage is usually lifelong.
Well, and let's talk about that, because it doesn't have to be, you know, the most world-shattering event in your life, but the build-up of these experiences that let you know that you are the less powerful one in this over time weighs on anybody.
Absolutely. It's a very intimate, very personal violation. I mean, of all the things that belong to us, our body is a boundary. That belongs to us. So when someone overpowers us and uses that power against us, you know, what's safety after that? What can I control? What can I say yes to? What can I say no to? And, you know, we know that when children especially learn these lessons early on in life, they take that with them. That stays with them.
You never forget.
And as an adult, I think when someone in a position of power or strength overpowers you sexually, intimately, there's so much shame that comes with that. I should have been able to protect myself. So again, what can I protect myself from if I couldn't protect myself in that situation?
We also, it seems to me, need to validate people who have had their boundaries broken in other ways, whether it's verbally or a threat or, you know, an employment situation or just I'm not kidding you. Some dude sent me a porn clip on my public Facebook page like 2 weeks ago. And it's not unusual
No,
if
I've
you are
gotten
in any way, in any sort of public, and you just kind of go, okay, that happened. And that makes me sad that it's like just the water we swim in. So you don't even go, hey, my God, look at this. This is crazy. You just go, and move on. That has to change.
Well, that's a sexual abuse, and abuse in any form. It doesn't always take a physical touch to be abusive, to be very damaging. If we have in our minds this picture of what sexual abuse is, we need to broaden that, because there's a lot of ways people are harmed that don't involve touch. And I think because we sort of have a stereotypical view of this, we tend to dismiss a lot of things that are very harmful to people long term.
How can we support one another and make this matter so that it's not just a momentary thing that we do, but can have at least, you know, the beginnings or the promise of some change?
I think doing this. I mean, we have to keep doing this. We have to be able to create a space where people can speak up and say, this is wrong. How many people didn't speak up in the Harvey Weinstein thing? How many people didn't? And
well, some people tried, and
They
were up against things that they couldn't get over.
Right.
I don't, you know, that's the part of this, is that power dynamic is real.
And it's hard to speak up when you've been victimized. So maybe we speak up on behalf of people.
For each other.
Exactly. And we don't let this topic go back under. I mean, in the Seattle area, we've had a couple of things pretty recently. We had a mayor who resigned because of this.
Oh, and we
got
see
a
it in
lot,
politics, past and present,
a lot of
entertainment,
attention.
sports, you name it. It's not hard to find.
Right.
So let's get educated and be supportive. Thank you both so much.
Thank
We're
you.
going to post a link to more resources for help on our homepage, and we also encourage you to continue this conversation online and on New Day's Facebook page if you would. We want your thoughts. We'll be right back.